And you just listened to a young girl who was saying that the Nigerian community here is totally very angry. It covers all those aspects affecting the various regions of our people. That was the Ijaw country of the Niger Delta of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He went to several schools. His major academic genesis was at Government College, Ujeli. And
go gather, destroy their food. With the camp and that other camp, some go camp, you don't compensate everybody.
In its key generations. Good day.
Good day.
Thank you very much for talking to people, places and events, and to the African Centre for Community and Development. What is your name?
My name is Jonathan Kang, and I work here at the Limbe Wildlife Centre as the head keeper and general supervisor. Now I've been here for the past 15 years, working full-time. And the Limbe Wildlife Centre is a collaborative effort between the government of Cameroon's Ministry of Forestry and Wildlife and Pandulus, which is an NGO cooperating in Africa to protect endangered species. And Pandulus settled in here in the early 90s, whereas the place had been existing as Limbe or Victoria Zoo. And when the Pandulus project came in, which is run by 2 American people, they decided that the place should become a center where people could come in and learn about the plight of the animals and see how they can also help these animals from getting extinct, because the rate of hunting of these animals is increasing every day, and conservation education has been seen to be the best method or best tool through which we can bring back these animals from the verge of extinction.
In terms of your work, what is your schedule every day?
In fact, as a head keeper and supervisor, I'm in charge of all the sections, making sure that the animals are healthy, they're happy, and that the keepers are there. That's the people working with the animals that are there. So I have a supervisory role over them. And also, when there's a leakage in any of the sections, I just kind of, fit in to take care of those animals on that particular day. But actually, I am a gorilla keeper, having worked with gorillas for 14 years, close to 15 years now. I have a
certification about the keeping of gorillas.
Yeah.
Okay, in terms of gorillas, they actually bring in a lot of money. In countries like Rwanda and Uganda, tourists pay averagely about $500 to watch these animals. Why do you think the industry is not very developed in Cameroon?
It's really a shame that Cameroon, they call Cameroon Africa in miniature, which means every bit of thing you can see in all parts of Africa can be seen in Cameroon. But the tourism industry in Cameroon is not well developed. And we're only looking at the short-term benefits. We're not looking at what the forests, what our natural resources can give us in the distant future. So we want to export all the timber, we want to cut down all the trees, we want to kill all the animals and sell bushmeat and all these kind of things like this. If the government could really put a lot of money into developing the tourism industry, then I can tell you that we will make more money than we're making from timber exploitation and all these kind of things. Yeah, gorillas are really similar to human beings, and people even call them gentle giants because of that, their calm disposition. Actually, that thing of percentage is the chimpanzee. The chimpanzee is 98.6% genetically the same as human beings. It means that they are very, very close to human beings in terms of genetics and also in terms of intelligence and so on. However, gorillas are also very close to human beings. They are, in fact, the word gorilla originated from an ancient Carthaginian language meaning gorilla meaning hairy man. And so this species of ape was named by Hanno, an ancient Carthaginian who sailed along the west coast of Africa in 470 BC. And he saw gorillas feeding in a nearby forest. And he couldn't believe they were animals of different species. He said, these are human beings. But the only difference is that they are hairy, really hairy. So he called them in his ancient Carthaginian language, hairy man. So that's where the word gorilla has come from. And you can now see how very close they are to us. And we also belong to one group with gorillas because we share distinctive characteristics. Like we don't have a tail, like gorillas don't have a tail. We can rotate our arms, brush it. We can rotate our arms 360 degrees. Gorillas can do that too, so we're very close to gorillas, and we share a lot of common characteristics with them.
What are their feeding habits?
Well, in the wild, they will live on. They mostly live on browse. Things like wine ginger, things like afumomom, and we try to give them as much as the natural foods that we can find around. So we give them that afumomom, we give them potato leaves, we give them papaya leaves, all those kind of things, and that's their breakfast in the morning here. And then now in captivity, animals in captivity will live mostly on fruits. But with the gorillas, we think because they need a lot of fiber in the diet, we go out every day, we harvest papaya leaves. We also have a contractor who supplies afumomom, which is this wine ginger. We harvest them from the forest, and that's their breakfast every day. And then they're fed like 6 times a day. So when they have their first, they will have their breakfast at 8 o'clock, they'll have another meal at 11, at 10 o'clock, 11, and then 1, and then 2 o'clock, and then 4:30, they get the last, that's the their supper, or the dinner.
Why would you generally give animals in captivity fruits?
Fruits are good for them, and also fruits will do a lot of good in their system. And there are a lot of things that, for example, if gorillas or certain species of animals are living on ants, and you can't get ants every day, I think fruits will substitute or replace most of the food classes that they will normally get in the wild.
Or maybe rotten fruits can also attract ants. What do you think?
Well, we don't breed ants actually, because we have a lot to do on these orphan primates and other animals, species that have been brought in here, and they are placed directly under our care.
And continue.
Yeah. In this enclosure, we have one new drill that has just arrived. It has passed through the quarantine section and has now moved down to where its conspecifics, that's animals of its species, are found. And when an animal comes like this, you need to introduce it to the electric fence. I don't do it out there because it will just jump through the fence. I will not even realize when it gets a shock from the fence. I will not realize that the shock is coming from the fence.
What's the voltage of the fence?
It's about 7,000 volts or 7 kilovolts. So you set up a fence in an enclosed place like this, in a satellite like this. You set up a fence like that small electric fence you see inside there, and then you connect it to the main fence out there, and the new animal will have to touch that electric fence in this satellite several times, and then understand that there's a shock coming from the wires. So when you let it out there with the other ones, you will be careful that it doesn't touch the fence out there. Because just bring it and dump it in there, will just go through the fence.
Okay.
And we'll have an escape. We do our best to prevent escapes.
Okay. What message have you to say to people out of Cameroon about the wonders of the Cameroonian forest and all that?
In fact, if I could have a word to tell them, I would tell them that Cameroon is very rich in natural resources, and that they really just need to assist Cameroon to protect their natural resources, and then Cameroon can be one of the richest countries in Africa.
From National Geographic. Yeah.
Thank you very much for talking to people, places and events, and to the African Centre for Community and Development. And I hope that through this venue, your voice shall reach the millions that are going to be watching them.
I'll be very grateful. I'll be very grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you for talking to me too.
Thank you very much. Our focus will be on the style of J.P. Clark, a poet and writer, and we shall also be very interested in his poem Akbo Dancer.
Some lives are meaningful, some are empty. There are lives that are eventful, with too much meaning and riches to offer humankind. Long after some of these earthly adventures are no more, one can still find footprints of these great lives on the pavements of our contemporary lives.
Good evening, you're welcome to the program Green Planet.